Good evening. If you're listening in the dark tonight, if you're driving,
You feel
or
it,
if you
don't
have a window open and the
cold
night
fingers
air
of the
is too
past,
quiet,
clawing their way up.
then I want you to
Never
remember
true
something
left.
simple. Most people think danger announces itself, but the worst things don't. They wait. And sometimes the only mistake you make is stopping for 60 seconds when you swore you wouldn't. This story was given to us as an audio statement and the name has been changed, but the details don't feel like something you invent because the fear in it is too specific. It happened on a
They can't
cold
trace
winter
this.
night
The old
a
ways
few
are
years
safer.
ago when I was
Listen
still
closely.
in school,
The truth
and
is hidden in the
my little
static.
brother was young enough to be embarrassed by things he shouldn't have been embarrassed by. My dad was working out of town, so for a few days, it was just me and my brother in our apartment,
It's late.
doing what kids
the TV's
do
still
when
on,
the
but it's
house
just
is
static.
quiet,
My brother's asleep.
staying up
I
late,
feel like something's watching.
eating whatever we wanted, watching videos until our eyes burned. And that day had already been wrong. In the morning, we had a false emergency alert. In the afternoon, the building had to be evacuated because of a gas leak. By sunset, they told us we couldn't come back inside until inspections were finished. And when you're a teenager with a little brother and no family nearby, you learn very fast that figure it out is not a plan.
Hold my hand tight. We have to
My
wait
dad
here.
made one phone
It's so
call.
dark, I'm scared.
His sister,
Shh, stay close.
my aunt.
Hello? I need to
The
speak
only
to them now. It's
problem
urgent.
was she
No,
didn't
listen,
live in the
tell them I'm
city.
coming.
She
I have to
lived
get
hours
there.
away. She told him she'd come. And I remember thinking, she won't. It's too late. It's too far. No one drives into the city at night just to rescue two kids. But at about 10 p.m., her old car
She
pulled up
won't
outside. And when I saw her through the glass doors of the lobby, I felt my shoulders drop, like someone had finally turned gravity off. She looked exhausted already. The kind of exhausted you get before the real night even starts. She hugged us once quickly and said, "We're going now. We're not going to stop."
Shh, I've
And then
got
she
you
looked
both.
at my brother and
Stay
asked,
close.
"Did you
We
use
have
the
to go.
bathroom?"
Now.
He said yes.
We're not going to stop.
She looked at me and asked, "Did you?" I said yes, too. It was a lie,
Yes.
but it was the kind of lie you say because you don't want to be a problem.
Did you tell anyone
She didn't
what
believe
you saw
either of
that
us.
night? Yes.
On the way out of the city, she pulled into a gas station and bought the kind of food you buy when you're not really hungry, but you need something in your hands. Dry sandwiches, chips, water. And she asked again, "Bathroom now." Because once we get on the highway, we don't stop. Not for anything.
Bathroom now.
My brother shook his head fast. I said we were fine. She stared at us for a second too
We'll
long
be fine, right?
and then
Yeah,
said,
totally fine. Let's go.
"Okay."
We got this.
And the way she said okay didn't feel like agreement. It felt like surrender.
Okay.
We drove out of the city and the buildings slowly became fewer. The traffic thinned. The street lights stretched farther apart, like someone was turning them off, one by one. At first it was normal. We ate. We joked. My brother leaned against the window, and then, maybe an hour in, my brother's voice changed. It got small. "Aunt Lucia," he whispered, "I have to go." She didn't answer right away.
Go.
Because adults know there are two kinds of "I have to go." There's the kind you can wait, and there's the kind you can. She kept her eyes on the road and said, "Hold it. We'll find a town." My brother's eyes filled.
Hold it, we'll find a town.
He tried to hold it because he was embarrassed. Because he was a kid and he didn't want to be the reason we stopped. But then he started crying. Real crying. And when a child cries like that in the back seat, it doesn't matter what rules you made earlier, the rules start to feel cruel. My aunt's jaw tightened. She looked left. She looked right. There were no town lights, no signs, no exits. Just black land on both sides and the highway stretching forward like a tunnel. She muttered something under her breath that sounded like a prayer, but didn't use any words I
Fine,
recognized.
fast, stay close.
And then she said, "Fine, fast, stay close." She pulled onto the shoulder. The moment the car stopped, the night got louder. Not with sound, with presence. The air felt colder. The darkness felt closer. And the headlights didn't feel like protection anymore. They felt like two small flashlights in a room that was too big. My brother climbed out and ran toward the nearest brush,
Go with
trying
him.
to hide himself from my aunt because he was embarrassed. My aunt told
Wait,
me,
why are you getting out too?
go with him. I started to follow, and then she opened her door again and stepped out too. I asked her why she was coming. She didn't answer. She just watched the darkness beyond the headlights, like she expected something to step forward and introduce itself. There was a moon that night. At first, it didn't help. But after a few seconds, my eyes adjusted and I could see shapes in the field. Low bushes, a ditch, tall grass that moved in slow
Wait,
waves.
is that a snake?
My brother crouched behind a bush and I stood nearby, pretending I wasn't watching him because he was my little brother, and that's what you do. He finished, zipped up, and then he froze. He whispered, "Something moved." I rolled my eyes because I thought he meant an animal. "A snake," he said. And the way he said it wasn't dramatic, it was confused. I stepped closer, I leaned down, and that's when I saw what he meant. There was a thick branch on the ground that didn't look like it belonged there. Not fallen naturally, placed, like someone had set it down on purpose. I don't know why I reached for it. Curiosity, maybe. Or the part of my brain that still believed the world was logical. I lifted the branch, and underneath something black shifted. At first, my mind tried to label it as two snakes, two thick ones, coiled. But
Get
then
in
the
the car
moonlight
now!
hit it just enough, and the shape became wrong.
We have to
They
go!
weren't snakes, they were legs. Two human legs, bare, pale against the dirt. And they moved
Aunt,
the
what's
way
happening?
worms move
Your
when you
face,
pull
it's
them
so
out of the
pale.
soil.
No,
Not
this can't be
walking.
raw.
Writhing. Like whatever owned them was nearby, but not connected. My breath caught,
Get
and
in,
I
now!
didn't even have time to form a word
Get back!
before a hand grabbed the back of my jacket so hard it yanked me upright. My aunt. Her other hand grabbed my brother. She didn't speak. She didn't ask. She dragged us toward the car with a kind of silent violence I had never felt from her, and my body obeyed before my mind understood. We stumbled over the gravel. My brother started crying again, but this time it wasn't embarrassment. It was terror. I wanted to ask what we were doing. I wanted to ask what that was, but something about my aunt's face stopped my voice completely. She looked white, not pale, not scared. White, like all the blood had left her and never planned to return. She shoved my brother into the back seat. She shoved me in after him, and then, because my brain still wanted to understand,
You knew all this time?
because I'm stupid the way humans are stupid,
Oh, no, how could you?
I
It was
looked
the only
back,
way.
and that was the
Did you
worst
hear
thing
that?
I could have done,
We need
because
to
now
get
I
out
could
of
see
here.
her, a woman, coming toward us from the brush.
Nothing.
But coming was the wrong word. Her face was twisted,
didn't
her
see
teeth
anything.
bared like an animal's. Her eyes were locked on us, and she moved too fast. Not running the way a person runs. She was low to the ground, supporting herself on her arms, dragging herself forward with impossible speed, like the road itself was pulling her closer. My aunt slammed her door, and in the same second, a semi-truck roared past in the right lane. My aunt didn't care. She didn't wait. She didn't signal. She shot the car forward, cutting back onto the highway like she'd rather die in a crash than stay one more second on that shoulder. The horn of the truck blasted behind us. My aunt didn't even flinch. She gripped the wheel so hard her hands shook. And I realized something terrifying. She wasn't trying to get us home. She was trying to get away from something she already knew existed. I leaned forward between the seats and whispered, "Aunt Lucia, oh, what was that?" She stared straight ahead and said,
I
"Nothing."
have to keep going.
I said.
It's still
saw-
becoming.
She snapped. "You didn't see anything." My brother was silent in the back seat, not crying anymore, just staring out the window like his mind had left his body to hide somewhere safer. I tried
think I
again,
see her in the mirror.
quieter.
God, she's
I saw
there.
legs.
Aunt,
My aunt's
what's wrong?
shoulders jolted,
You broke
and
the
then
rule. No
she
more
did
warnings.
something I'll never forget.
I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter.
She turned
Neither
her
of
head
you
just
will
slightly,
talk about
not enough to
this.
take her eyes off the road, and she whispered like the car itself could hear us. "Don't say it."
Why?
I swallowed. "Why?" She didn't answer,
Saying it out loud, inviting
She just
it into
drove.
memory.
and the entire time I could feel it, not behind us, not beside us, but somewhere out there in the dark. Something
What was that
patient,
woman doing?
learning
was
the
no
sound of
woman.
our fear. Because a few miles later, my aunt's dashboard clock flickered. Just once. And in the faint reflection of the windshield, I saw movement in the passenger side mirror that didn't match our car. Like someone was keeping pace beside us in the dark. Low, fast, and close enough that the mirror began to tremble. I didn't know what to do with what I'd seen, because the human brain has a built-in defense
Don't
mechanism.
tell anyone.
If something doesn't fit, you try to make it smaller. You call it an animal, you call it stress.
Why?
You call it a trick of shadows. But that night in the back seat,
People
my
collect
aunt
stories,
drove
but stories collect people.
like she was escaping
Things
something that
collect
could
people.
follow a car at highway speed. The heater blasted. My brother stopped crying. Not because he was fine, because he was gone somewhere else. And every time the road curved, I expected to see her again in the shoulder light, low, fast, keeping pace.
Here, drink this.
I
Now go
watched
to
my
the
aunt's
guest room.
hands, white-knuckled, trembling, and when she finally spoke again,
Look at me.
it wasn't to comfort us. It was to set a rule. Neither
When
of
you
you,
looked back,
she said, voice tight.
did it look at you?
We're going to talk about
Yes.
this when we get there. I leaned forward. Why? She swallowed hard.
Did you hear
Because if
anything
you
beyond
say
the
it out
words?
loud,
I'm
you
trying to
invite it
remember. It's
into
hard
your
to
memory.
explain.
And once it's in your memory, it knows where to live. That sentence didn't make sense to me. Not the way it would later.
Felt like it knew me.
I tried to push back. "Aunt Lucia, what was that woman doing out there?" she snapped, louder than she meant to. "There was no woman." I said, "I saw her." Her eyes flashed to the rearview mirror, straight into mine, and in that look I saw something I hadn't seen in her before. Guilt, not for
is that?
stopping, for knowing.
Insurance.
I whispered, "Have you seen it before?" She didn't answer. She drove, all the way to Querétaro in silence. When we finally pulled into her neighborhood, it looked like any
There!
other place.
It's right there!
Street lights, closed gates,
It's coming closer!
quiet houses. And yet the relief didn't come, because now we were carrying something with us. Not in the trunk,
There's nothing.
not on our shoes, in our heads. My aunt parked and sat there for a moment with the engine running,
Making the sound.
as if she needed the sound to keep the night outside. Then she
He
turned
said
off the
it's
car
the sound
and
it
the
makes when
silence
it's
rushed
smiling.
in. "Listen," she said.
Did you look outside?
And this time her voice
No, I
wasn't
didn't.
angry, it was
Good.
pleading.
Don't. Stay away from the windows.
"I don't care what you think you saw. I don't care what you think you know. When we go inside, you do not tell my mother, you do
I
not
didn't
tell
look
my
back
neighbors,
on the
you do
road.
not tell
You have
anyone."
no idea how dangerous that
I
sounds.
stared at her. "Why?"
That doesn't matter.
She hesitated, and then she said the truth in the only way she could. Because there are people who collect stories like that, and there are things that collect people who tell them. I didn't understand the full meaning then, but I nodded. Because the way she said it made the hairs on my arms rise. Inside her house, everything was clean and warm. Blankets on the couch. A pot of tea already made like she'd prepared for disaster. A small cross above the kitchen doorway. She gave my brother a glass of water, told him to change
Do
into
not
pajamas
stand at the
and
glass.
sent him to the guest room. He moved like a sleepwalker.
Why? Why are you doing
Then
this?
my aunt pulled me into the
I don't
kitchen
understand.
and lowered
Please
her
tell
voice.
me what's happening.
"Look at me," she said.
Glass is a mirror.
I did. And she asked me a question that still makes my stomach tighten. "When you looked back, did it look at you?" I swallowed. "Yes." My aunt closed her eyes for a second like she was bracing for impact.
What was it doing out there?
"And did you hear anything? Even if it wasn't words?" I tried to remember. Not her scream, not her teeth.
Taking
The
off
feeling,
what
the
it didn't
pressure.
need.
Like the night itself was leaning closer. I whispered. It felt like it knew me. My aunt nodded slowly, and then she did something that made no sense in a normal world. She took a bowl of salt from her cupboard and sprinkled a thin line across the inside of the back door.
No!
Then she did the same on the windowsill. Then the front door.
In the morning.
A quiet ritual.
Anything in the morning?
Not dramatic. Like brushing your teeth. Like locking a car. Like something you do because you've learned what happens when you don't. I said, "Aunt Lucia,
He's
what is
just
this?"
a kid!
She didn't look at
Please,
me.
he's just a kid!
Insurance.
Don't hurt him!
I wanted to ask 100 questions. But my brother suddenly screamed from the guest room. Not a scared yell, a full-body panic scream. I ran down the hall. My aunt ran behind me. We burst into the room and found him sitting upright in bed, eyes wide,
It's not
pointing at
supposed
the
to
window.
come
He was
this
shaking so
close.
hard the mattress rattled. "There's something outside," he whispered.
How do you know?
I turned. The window looked out onto a small side yard. Fence, a patch of dirt, a single tree. Nothing moved. "Baby, there's nothing," my aunt said too quickly. My brother's eyes were stuck on the glass, like he
I'm
couldn't
going
blink.
to call someone. Do
"It's
exactly
making
what
the sound,"
I say.
he whispered. "What sound?" I asked.
Who was that?
He swallowed.
I don't know.
The sound
you
it
saw
makes when it's
too,
smiling.
right? Yes.
My aunt grabbed his face gently,
Please,
forced him to
someone
look
help!
at her.
It's 911.
"Did you look outside?" she asked. He nodded,
If we
still
pretend
trembling.
it's normal, it
My aunt's
becomes
jaw
normal.
clenched. I said, "He didn't see it on the road. He didn't look back." My aunt stared at me like I'd said something dangerous. Then she whispered, "I got that doesn't matter." And that's when I realized the rule
Ma'am,
wasn't
we have a unit
don't
en
look
route.
back.
Please stay on the line.
The rule
I
was
need you to
deeper.
confirm
It
your
was
location.
don't
Are you
stop
safe?
where you
I
shouldn't
have to
stop.
tell you something.
Because
No,
some
I can't.
places
It's too dangerous.
are not just places.
She's inside
They're
the
doors.
house now.
I stepped to the window and leaned closer, trying to see past my reflection. Moonlight hit the yard. And for a second, I thought I saw a shape near the fence,
Ma'am,
low to the
are
ground.
you there?
too low to be a person standing. I blinked. It was gone. My aunt yanked the curtain shut so hard the rod
Please.
rattled. "Do not," she said,
Don't make
voice
me
sharp.
say where
"Stand
I
at the
am."
glass." I turned. "Why?" She spoke like she
Okay.
hated herself for saying it. Because glass is a mirror, and mirrors
What am I seeing?
are invitations.
He didn't ask for the address.
I stared at
He
her,
asked, what am I seeing?
and then my mind did something it had been
you
trying
listening
not to
to
do
me?
since the roadside.
Yes.
It connected
What did you
pieces,
say?
the legs,
Do not
the branch
describe it.
placed on purpose, the
Whatever you
speed,
saw, keep it to
the way
yourself.
it moved like it
It's
didn't
not
need
safe,
to use
please.
the road like we did. What? I whispered. What was it doing out there? My aunt
Do not
hesitated, then she
describe
said
it.
very
Do not
quietly.
Describe it, name
Taking
it.
off what
Do
it
not
didn't need.
describe it.
I felt cold
Don't
run
say
down my
bruja.
spine. My brother said, "I have to pee again." My aunt's head snapped toward him. "No," she said instantly. He blinked. "But My aunt crouched beside the bed, voice controlled but shaking. "You
I
can,
think it's trying
in the
the
morning.
back door.
You can do anything in the
Stay
morning."
on the line. We have units en route.
He started crying again, confused and
You're
exhausted.
not alone on
I
this
said,
call.
"Aunt Lucia, he's a kid." She didn't look at me. She looked at the hallway,
mean?
like she was listening for something we couldn't hear. And then, from somewhere in the house, a soft sound drifted through the air. Not a knock, not footsteps.
Real?
A light, careful scraping, like fingernails on wood.
Sis, what's wrong? Look
My
at me.
aunt went still.
What
I
is it?
watched
What do
her
you
face
see?
shift from fear to anger. Not at us, at something else. Something that had followed us farther than it should have, she whispered.
1. No describe.
It's not supposed to come
2.
this close.
No name. 3. No agree.
I whispered back. How do you know?
Agree.
My aunt didn't answer. She walked to the kitchen,
No
opened a
confirmations.
drawer,
No okay.
and took
no
out her
repeating.
phone.
Just listen.
Her hand shook so badly she had to try twice to unlock it. Then she turned to me and said something that made my stomach drop.
It followed us from the highway.
I'm going to call someone, and you're going to do exactly what I say, I asked.
I can't say.
Who are
We
you
have a
calling?
rule about that. Never reveal
My
the
aunt
location.
stared at me, and for the first time, she let me see just how
I feel
scared
like it's
she was.
listening.
911, she said. I froze. Why?
Mexico
whispered.
code Querétaro
Because if we
Highway.
pretend this is normal, it becomes normal.
Okay, I
She
think we
dialed.
have a...
The phone
I mean,
rang.
It's not
Once.
confirmed.
What was that, okay?
Twice. And then, a voice answered. Not the cheerful operator voice people expect. A tired, professional voice. A dispatcher. 911, what's your emergency? My aunt opened her mouth, and before she could speak, my brother whispered behind me, still staring at the
412
curtain-covered
Maple.
window.
Advise on uncovered mirrors?
She's inside the house now. My aunt didn't breathe. The dispatcher repeated, Ma'am, are you there? And from the hallway, the scraping sound stopped, replaced by something worse, a slow, wet
You
drag,
need to understand.
getting
the glass,
closer.
It's
My
learning your
aunt
shape.
finally
Look
spoke
closely
into the
at your
phone,
reflection.
but her voice came out wrong, too careful, too quiet. Please, she said, don't make me say where I am. The dispatcher paused, then said, Okay, tell me what you're seeing.
Hum to confirm.
My aunt flinched like she'd been
Instructions
slapped,
received. Stand by.
because the dispatcher hadn't asked for her address. He'd asked for what she was seeing, like he already knew. My aunt stared at the phone, and then the dispatcher said something that made the room go ice cold. Ma'am, do not describe it. My aunt whispered. What? The dispatcher's voice stayed steady. Do not describe it, do not name it, and whatever you do, don't
You
say
have to
Bruja.
listen to me now.
My aunt's
And you're
lips parted
hurting ya.
It's for your own good.
because she hadn't said that word,
Don't look
not
too
once.
long.
And in that exact moment, the kitchen light
Oh,
flickered.
yes.
Ma'am, I
One
need you to
long
focus.
blink,
I understand, but please hurry.
and
We're
when it
on
came
our way.
back on, my aunt's salt line at the back door was smeared, like something had dragged a hand through it from the inside. The dispatcher's voice stayed calm, not comforting, not curious, professional. Ma'am, he said, I need you to
Are you
listen
still there?
carefully. You're not
Can you tell
alone
me
on
what's
this
happening?
call.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt tightened her grip on the phone.
Do not look at the center.
What do you mean?
What is that?
I
It's
mean,
pulling me in.
the dispatcher said. This line is recorded, and some things use recordings like doors. My heart started hammering. My brother whispered from the bed, Is he real? My aunt didn't answer him. She kept her eyes on the kitchen doorway, because that was where the sound was now. A wet drag, slow, patient. The dispatcher continued like he was reading a protocol that didn't exist in any handbook. Do not describe it. Do not name it.
All personnel
And do
report
not
to break
agree with
room
it.
immediately. Do not utilize
My aunt's
mirrors.
breath
Close
caught.
and lock door.
Agree? The dispatcher's voice dropped half an inch in tone. Yes, ma'am. No confirmations, no. Okay. No repeating what it says. No answering questions it asks you.
He's here. Run.
I
And he's
froze.
coming. My brother.
Because the
Don't look back.
rules were
No.
changing. This wasn't just about a thing outside a car on the highway. This was about language, consent, the way fear makes you obey. My aunt whispered. It followed us from the highway. The dispatcher didn't sound surprised. Where did you stop? He asked.
It's in here.
My aunt's face tightened.
It's in here.
You told me not to say where I am.
Units en route.
I'm not
Hang
asking
tight.
where you are
Are
now,
they close?
he said. I'm
don't
asking
see
where you
them.
stopped. My aunt hesitated, and the
No
moment she
one's
hesitated,
coming.
the kitchen light flickered again, just once. Like the house
Someone will come.
was listening to.
You may not want to let them in.
She swallowed. On the Mexico-Querétaro highway,
What?
the dispatcher exhaled quietly through his nose like he'd heard that answer before.
It will wear a uniform.
He said, then corrected himself immediately. Understood. My aunt's eyes
Like
flashed.
the men from the church.
You almost said it. I did, he admitted. And I won't again. The wet, dragging sound in the hallway stopped. A new sound replaced it, a soft scrape
Who's there?
at the back door,
You know who?
like a fingernail
This is
tracing
can't
the
be-
frame.
I
My
knew
aunt's
that.
face turned toward the door. The line of salt across the threshold was still smeared, like
Do
something
not
had
respond.
tested it. The dispatcher said, "Do you have any mirrors
Open the
uncovered in the
door."
house?"
Who is it?
My aunt
Who
went
opened
still.
the door? I can't.
I looked around.
It's okay.
The kitchen window, the microwave
That's Mom's
door,
voice.
the dark glass of a picture frame on the wall.
This is the sheriff's
My
office.
aunt whispered.
Identify yourself
Why?
immediately.
Because glass is not neutral, the dispatcher said. If it can see itself, it can learn your shape. That sentence made my stomach turn. My aunt forced herself to move. She
Just
kept
listen.
the phone to her
Listen
ear
for one thing.
and gestured for me to follow her. We didn't speak,
Real will
We moved
identify
through the
you without
house.
confirmation.
like we were sneaking through someone else's nightmare.
Confirm
The
your name.
dispatcher stayed on the line. Tell me only yes or no, he said. But do not
Do
say
not
the word. Hum
confirm
once for yes,
anything.
twice for no. My aunt nodded even though he couldn't see her. We reached the living room. There was a big mirror on the wall,
Confirm and
decorative,
we'll take you
old,
home.
the kind that makes a room feel larger. It was uncovered. I stared into it,
What if I already
and for a
did?
second, I didn't recognize the reflection as us. The grain of the darkness, the distance between our bodies, the way my brother's bedroom door was visible behind my shoulder. I felt the urge to step closer. My aunt grabbed my wrist, hard. She leaned into my ear and whispered so softly I barely heard it.
Put me on speakerphone.
Don't look too long. Then she raised the phone and hummed once.
Don't let anyone
Yes.
hear him. Cover the phone.
The
What is
dispatcher's
it?
voice sharpened.
Shh, don't speak.
Cover it, now. With something
Confirm
thick,
name.
a blanket, a towel, anything.
Confirm name.
My aunt grabbed the throw blanket
Listen
from the
for
couch.
breathing.
Her hand shook as she lifted it, and that's when the mirror fogged. Not from
Listen
our breath,
carefully. We have a
from
situation.
The inside.
Stay calm and follow
A
my
cloudy
instructions.
patch
We
bloomed
need to act
outward
now.
from the center of the glass.
Real people hesitate,
spreading
you know?
like a slow bruise.
They overlap when they talk, they breathe.
My aunt froze. I froze.
Is the deadbolt engaged?
The dispatcher
Yes,
said,
I
"Ma'am,
checked it.
what's
It's
happening?"
locked. He's
My aunt
checking
couldn't
it
form
now.
words, so she did what he told her. She hummed once, yes. The dispatcher said, "Do not look at the center of the mirror."
Locking isn't consent, opening
Too
is.
late. Because my eyes had already been pulled there.
I know
And in the fogged patch, a shape began to form.
Baby, open the door. Baby, open the
Not
door.
a full face,
Auntie, is that you? No!
Not yet.
Stay back!
but something pressed close
Her voice.
to the inside of the glass, like skin against a window.
I'm scared.
My aunt flung
That's
the
her.
blanket over the mirror
No.
so fast it snapped like a flag. The fogged patch
Do
disappeared
not
under
respond.
fabric.
It wants you to
But
repeat
the
okay.
fabric moved, just slightly, like something behind it had shifted. My aunt stumbled backward.
Now, honey, you know Mommy
The
always knows
dispatcher's
best.
tone
It's time to
changed.
be still now. Just listen to
"Ma'am,"
my
he
voice.
said, "you need to get everyone into one room.
You're making
a
it
room
worse.
with no mirrors, no windows if possible. Close the door." My aunt
Is anyone
turned
there?
toward the hallway, and that's
I
when we
need
heard
you
it
to
again.
Confirm your name again.
Not the dragging. Footsteps,
Real law
bare
enforcement
feet,
won't ask you to
wet.
confirm.
in the hall, moving toward us.
Confirm your name.
My brother screamed from the bedroom.
Confirm your
I
name.
ran, my aunt right behind me.
Confirm your name.
We slammed into the guest room and shut the door. My brother was standing on the bed now, crying, pointing
Are there
at the
any
closet.
neighbors nearby?
The closet door was cracked open. My aunt pressed
Do
her
not call
full
neighbors.
weight
Do
against
not
the bedroom
shout.
door
Do not
and
open
whispered into
windows.
the phone, "It's in here."
Why?
The dispatcher didn't ask
it learns your
questions, he
network.
said. "Units are en route."
Let me in,
I wanted to
please.
believe him,
Let
but my
me in.
aunt's eyes snapped to mine like she could read my doubt.
Do not
She
respond.
whispered, "No one's coming." The dispatcher heard her.
Please,
His voice stayed steady, but it turned colder.
Please.
"Ma'am," he said, "someone will come. The problem is, you may not want to let them in." My aunt's face twisted.
If it
What?
hears sirens, it will change
The
mass.
dispatcher said it clearly. "If it can't get you to open a door, it will wear a uniform." My blood went cold. My aunt whispered, "Like the men from the church." The dispatcher paused, just long enough to make me think the line had gone dead. Then he said, "Yes." The wet footsteps
there.
stopped outside the bedroom door.
How do you know?
Silence, the kind of silence that feels staged. Then, from the other side of the door, a voice spoke. Soft. Familiar. My aunt's voice.
Outside now.
"I'm here," it said. "Open the door." My aunt's lips parted, not
Dispatch,
to
this
answer,
is Unit
to
305,
scream,
requesting immediate welfare check on
But
Aunt
she
Sarah,
didn't.
742 Evergreen Terrace.
because
Possible
the
distress.
dispatcher cut in instantly, voice sharp for the first time. "Do not respond." My aunt pressed the phone
Copy.
to her ear
I
so
hear the
hard
taps.
it bent against her cheek.
I'm clearing the house now.
"I'm not talking," she whispered. The voice outside the door tried again. Still my aunt's voice. "Open the door, it's okay." The dispatcher said, "It's trying to make you repeat it."
It's clear.
My brother was sobbing. "That's Mom's voice," he whispered. "That's her voice." And then the voice outside changed. It dropped lower. It became
Who's
a
there?
man's
What do you
voice.
want?
Not threatening,
please,
not
open the
angry,
door slowly.
official.
Is everything all right?
Just need to
"Sheriff's
talk.
office," it said calmly. "We got a call. Open the door." My aunt's body went rigid.
How can I
Because
look
now
so
the
normal?
trap was perfect.
The dread of
A
living with
uniform,
this memory.
authority, safety. My aunt
you
whispered
all
into the
okay?
phone, "What do we do?" The dispatcher answered in a tone that sounded like someone who had done this before. "You stay quiet," he said, "and you listen for one thing." My aunt's eyes filled. "What?"
Where did you
The
stop
dispatcher
tonight?
said, "If it's real, it will identify you without asking you to confirm yourself."
On the highway.
Outside the door, the
I can't
sheriff
give you
spoke
any more
again.
details.
"Ma'am, confirm your name."
Who are
My
you
aunt's
on the
hand
line
flew
with?
to her mouth.
It's nothing. Just a friend.
The dispatcher's voice turned deadly
This
serious.
is dispatch.
"Do not," he said. "Do not confirm anything, not your name, not your address.
Don't
Not
say
that you
it on
understand,
air.
not that you're okay." Outside the door, the sheriff chuckled softly,
Uniforms have rules too?
and the chuckle sounded
I know what it
wrong,
says.
like the sound
Ma'am,
a
I'm
person
disconnecting
makes
this call. You'll forget
when
my
they're
name.
trying
No,
to
please
imitate
don't. I don't
laughter,
understand.
but have never actually felt it.
She whispers she never
Then
knew
the
his
sheriff
name.
said, slower this time, "Confirm your name,
Good.
and we'll take you home." My aunt stared at the phone, then whispered, barely audible, "What if I already did?" The dispatcher didn't answer
You
immediately,
looked back.
and in that half-second pause, the bedroom doorknob began to turn. Not forced, not shaking, turning, like someone with a key. The doorknob turned. Slow, smooth, like someone had the right key. My aunt pressed her back harder into the door, as if her spine could hold it shut. My brother's crying turned into that quiet, breathless kind, like he was trying not to be heard. The dispatcher stayed on the line.
Stay on the
"Ma'am,"
line.
he said,
Do
"I need you to
not
answer
hang
one
up.
thing for
We
me
have
with a
units
hum.
on the way.
One for yes, two
Lock
for
the
no."
doors. Stay quiet.
My aunt's voice
I
came out as a
can't.
whisper anyway. "I can't." He repeated. "Is your phone on speaker?" My aunt hummed twice. "No." "Good,"
can't
the
talk
dispatcher
long.
said. "Do not turn it on speaker,
might be
and do not
listening.
let anyone hear me." The sheriff outside the door spoke again, patient as a snake. "Ma'am,
The
confirm your
silence
name."
between phrases feels unnatural.
My aunt
Straining
covered
to
the
listen
phone's
makes it
mouthpiece
worse.
with her
You
hand,
can't escape the
like
quiet.
even the air might betray her.
What am I listening for?
The dispatcher continued, calm and
Just
sharp.
listen.
"Now, listen to the voice. Not the words. The voice." I didn't understand.
We're
My
here
aunt
to
whispered.
help.
"What am I listening for?" The dispatcher said, breathing.
The cold cannot touch
My aunt
me.
went
I have
still.
no breath to give.
Outside the
You
door,
hear
the
me,
voice
but you
said,
cannot say.
"We're here to help." No breath, no swallow, no human pause, just perfect speech. My skin prickled. The dispatcher said, "Real people breathe between phrases. Real people hesitate. They ask questions that
Is the
sound
deadbolt
messy."
locked?
Yes.
Outside the door, the sheriff spoke again, and it was
Lock
too
it.
clean. "Ma'am, confirm your name. Confirm you're okay." My aunt's eyes filled with tears. She shook her head like she was physically refusing. The doorknob turned the other direction, back, then forward again. A test, not force, like it was checking whether the lock obeyed. The dispatcher's tone dropped. Do you have a deadbolt on that door? My aunt hummed once. Yes.
Waiting. The door
Lock
feels
it,
watched.
he said.
This is a
My
calculation,
aunt
not
didn't
anger.
move. Her hands
Oh,
were
God,
shaking
what's
too
happening to my
hard.
voice? No, this
I
isn't
slid
me.
off
It
the
sounds
bed
like
and moved quietly, like every floorboard
That's
had
her.
teeth.
That's me.
I reached the deadbolt, and I stopped
Recording wearing your voice.
because my
Do
hand
not
was
engage.
inches from
Oh
the
God,
metal.
please help me. They're watching.
And
Do not
something in my
engage.
chest
Recording.
screamed the same warning the dispatcher had
okay.
been giving us all
I
night.
promise it's okay.
Don't confirm.
Please
Don't
believe me.
agree. Don't participate.
Okay.
Even a click could feel like an answer. The dispatcher's voice cut through my hesitation. Do it, he said, but not like a command, like a lifeline.
Come inside, dear.
Locking is
It's all
not
right.
consent. Opening is. I turned the deadbolt. It clicked. Outside the door, the voice paused for the first time. Not frustration, calculation. Then it tried something else. It stopped pretending to be a sheriff. It became my
Here,
aunt
don't
again.
give it paperwork.
Don't give
Soft.
it paperwork.
Whatever you do,
trembling.
don't let it be filed.
I understand.
Baby,
Don't give it paperwork.
Open the door, please. I'm scared. My brother sobbed. That's her. My aunt whispered, That's me.
Yes.
The dispatcher said, No, that's a recording, wearing your
Do
voice.
not shout. Do not call.
My aunt's lips quivered. The voice outside continued, pleading now. I'm right here. Open it. It's okay. You're safe. The dispatcher
Outside
said,
voice becomes a small
It wants you
girl's
to repeat,
voice.
okay.
Help me, please. I'm so scared.
My
Don't
aunt
leave
swallowed
me.
hard. My brother whispered the word without meaning to, just the sound of it forming in his mouth. Oh! My aunt snapped her hand over his mouth instantly. His eyes went wide.
Dispatch warning.
She didn't look angry.
if siren heard.
She looked terrified
Yes.
of what she'd almost allowed.
Okay, no,
The
wait.
dispatcher
location?
said,
You see
Good.
this? I see movement.
Outside the door, the voice shifted
again.
again.
Sees me.
It became my mother. Not my real mother. But the tone a mother uses when she's trying to calm you down.
They don't.
Sweetheart, it said. Open the door. You're making
I
it
didn't
worse.
know it was her. I heard the
stared
voice
at the
in the
doorknob,
hallway.
waiting for it to rattle,
Please confirm
to
your
slam,
location.
to break. It didn't. It stayed polite. Because it wasn't trying to break in, it was trying to be invited.
We can hear you breathing.
The dispatcher said, This is important. If it were real law enforcement, they would identify themselves without asking you to confirm anything. Outside the door, the voice said, Confirm your name. And the dispatcher whispered almost like a prayer.
Yes or no?
Don't give it paperwork. My aunt's breathing became ragged. I realized what he meant. This wasn't just superstition. It was
Call is
about
still
record,
yours.
about permission, about something that needed you to sign yourself into the moment. The dispatcher's voice sharpened. Ma'am, do you have any neighbors close? My aunt hummed once. Yes. Good. But you will not call them. You will not shout. You will not open a window. You will not ask for help out loud. My aunt's eyes flashed, helpless. Why?
They're there.
The dispatcher answered quietly. Because it learns your network. And it doesn't just want you.
Wait, you can hear that
It wants
traffic?
roots.
It's not me, I
My
swear.
stomach turned. Outside the door, the voice changed one more time. It became a child's voice, a girl's voice, small, flat, not dramatic. Let me in, it said. My aunt froze.
Dispatch,
because now
sending
it wasn't
unit to
using
Eleanor
authority.
Street. Check
it was
on
using
Eleanor.
pity.
It's her nephew.
My brother's eyes went soft, reflexively, and I saw the trap. The dispatcher said, Do not respond.
Copy that. Clearing the house.
My aunt whispered, I'm not responding. Outside the door, the child voice said again,
He said my name.
Please.
Because he's real.
The doorknob didn't turn. It waited. The dispatcher spoke more gently. Ma'am, listen. Units are on the way, but you need to understand this.
Please don't hang up.
If it hears a
Stay
real
with
siren,
me.
it will change its mask. My aunt hummed once. Yes. Okay. The dispatcher caught himself again. Understood. And then he said something that made my blood run cold. When they arrive, you will not open the door until you hear them say your address without you giving it. My aunt
It's
whispered,
clear.
"What if they don't?" The dispatcher paused,
Now you can.
and I could hear something in his pause. Not fear, experience. "Then you wait," he said. "Even if it sounds like your own mother begging, even if it sounds like your sister crying, even if it sounds like me." I stared at the phone. The dispatcher's voice was
Are you
steady,
okay,
but
Aunt?
now I could hear the strain under it. He had done this before. And that meant people had failed before. Outside the door, the voice shifted back into the sheriff. "Ma'am," it said calmly, "we can hear you breathing. Confirm your name." My aunt's eyes snapped to
Where
mine.
did they stop tonight?
Her lips formed a question without sound. What if it's true?
On the highway.
Because the worst part wasn't the monster. It was the possibility of being wrong. The dispatcher
this?
spoke again, low and absolute. "Ma'am, I'm going to ask you another yes, no.
This is dispatch.
Hum once for
Copy that,
yes."
dispatch. Go ahead.
My
Be
aunt
advised,
hummed
we have a
once.
1016 in
Yes.
progress at your location.
"Did you tell me your name on this
Don't say
call?"
it on air.
My aunt's breath stopped. She hadn't. She'd avoided it. She hummed twice.
Uniforms
No.
have rules too.
What do
The
you
dispatcher
mean?
They
exhaled
enforce
like
them.
he'd
We're
been
not
holding
safe.
his own breath.
Oh, God.
"Good," he said.
Disconnect.
Then the
and
call is
forget
still
my
yours.
name.
Outside the door, the sheriff voice chuckled again.
I don't know his
That
name.
wrong imitation of laughter. And then softly, like a final offer, "Confirm your name, and we'll take you home." My aunt began to cry without sound.
You looked back.
And then, finally, outside, far down the street, we heard something real. A
La
siren,
bruja de
not
la
close,
carretera.
but approaching. The voice outside the door went quiet
October
instantly.
26,
No
1994.
goodbye.
The night I can't
No final
forget.
threat.
The shadows
It just
moved. I knew it was real.
Stopped. And the silence that replaced it felt like a room after someone leaves, still warm with their presence. The dispatcher's tone changed. "Ma'am," he said, "they're there." My aunt's eyes widened. "How do you know?" "Because I can hear the radio traffic," he said. I frowned. We couldn't hear any radio. But then I realized what he meant. He wasn't hearing it in our house. He was hearing it in his world. He said, "Listen, do not open the door yet. Wait." We waited. The siren grew louder. A car door slammed outside. Then, voices. Real voices, messy,
No happy
overlapping,
memories.
breathing. Then we heard it. A male voice close to the door calling out, "Ma'am, Lucia Reyes, this is Deputy Herrera. We're at your address. We're at the side door. Don't open yet. Just tell us if you can hear me by tapping twice." My aunt's face collapsed with relief, so sharp it almost looked like pain. She didn't speak.
When men are mentioned, my blood
She
runs
tapped
cold.
twice on
Their
the bedroom
deceit
door with her
showers
knuckles.
unforgivable.
Outside, the deputy spoke again. "Good. Stay where you are. We're clearing the house." My aunt whispered into the phone, "He said my name." The dispatcher said, "Yes, because he's real." My brother started sobbing again, this time from
Whispers in
relief.
the dark
What
My aunt
rumors,
whispered,
Mother?
of what was
"Can you
done.
stay on the line?"
Tell us.
The dispatcher's voice softened. "I'm here," he said. "Just don't talk unless you have to." We stayed in that room while boots moved through the house. We heard closet doors open. We heard
Come
cabinets
now.
close.
We
We
must
heard
keep moving.
I don't
flashlights
want
click.
to.
You have to
And
follow.
then-
This is wrong.
Silence. A long, tense silence. Finally, a knock came at the bedroom door.
By dawn, you
Two
won't
knocks.
remember.
Pause.
What?
Two
No, I
knocks.
can't.
A real pattern.
Swear it.
And the
Swear you
deputy's
won't
voice.
I
Breathing.
swear.
Tired. Human. "Ma'am, it's clear." My aunt didn't move. She looked at the phone like she was waiting for permission. The dispatcher said quietly, "Now you can." My aunt opened the bedroom door. The deputy stood there with a flashlight and a radio.
No, I won't leave.
He looked normal.
Esther, we have to go.
Too normal.
Stay here.
And that's what made me start
No,
shaking.
we can't.
But why?
Because normal
They'll
meant
punish
we were
us.
going to
I'm
have to
scared.
live with the memory. The deputy asked gently, "Are you all okay?" My aunt flinched at the word. But this time she didn't answer with it. She just nodded. The deputy's
Hold on,
eyes
Esther.
flicked to the
We have to
salt
wash them
lines
now.
smeared at the back
It hurts.
door,
Almost there.
to the blanket covering the living
Esther,
room mirror,
can you hear me?
to
She's
the
not
muddy
responding.
streak
Esther,
across
her
the
eyes are
threshold
empty. This isn't
that
right.
hadn't been there earlier. He didn't ask us what we saw. He asked us one thing. Where did you stop tonight? My aunt's mouth tightened. I expected her to lie. Instead, she whispered, "On the highway." The deputy's jaw clenched like that answer confirmed something. He looked at the dispatcher phone in her hand and asked, "Who are you on the line with?" My aunt hesitated. The dispatcher spoke first. "This is dispatch," he said. "She did the right thing." The deputy's face shifted just slightly. Not confusion, recognition. He stepped back into the hallway and spoke into his radio quietly. Not loud, not official. Just one sentence. "Don't say it on air."
You have something.
My aunt looked at me, and for the first time, I understood something terrible.
Inside now. The night is no
This
place.
wasn't just a story people
Quiet. You'll
whispered.
be seen.
This was something that had touched enough lives that even the people in uniform had rules. Before the deputies left, the dispatcher said one final thing to my aunt. "Ma'am, I'm going to disconnect now, and when I do, you're going to forget my name." My aunt whispered, "I don't know your name." The dispatcher paused. Then he said, almost kindly, "Good." The line went dead. And in the quiet after, my aunt finally spoke like a real person again. She sat at the kitchen table, put her head in her hands, and whispered, "You looked back." I nodded. She shook her head slowly.
The chosen
shouldn't
one
have.
has come.
I said,
am
"What
here.
was it?"
We're grateful.
My aunt stared at me for a long time, and then she said, in a voice that sounded like someone confessing, "La bruja de la carretera." The road witch. And even saying it that quietly made the air in the kitchen feel colder. The next part of this episode came to us differently. Not as a police report, not as a 911 call, as an audio diary. A woman asked that we not use her last name, so tonight, we'll call her Genesis. And she told us something that made my skin prickle for a reason I can't fully explain. She
Ma'am,
said
please.
some
It's for
families
her
don't
safety.
meet witches
She's mine.
on the
You
road.
can't have her.
Wait, you don't
Some
understand.
families are born inside the house. And the first time she heard the word bruja, it wasn't a warning. It was a description of her mother. Genesis said her great-grandmother lived to 98. And when she died, the family found a box in the bottom of an old trunk. No photos, no letters, just a cassette tape. And one sentence written on the
Don't you
label in
dare
shaky
eat that.
handwriting.
Get back. It's
Tell it
not
like
for
I saw
you.
it. But don't say our names. Genesis listened. And what she heard wasn't a ghost story, it was a confession. So Genesis did something strange. She re-recorded it in first person, so you could feel like it was
Aquí
the
tienes,
old
doña
woman
Pilar.
talking directly into
Pancho.
your
¿Café?
ear.
Sí, por favor.
This
Siéntate.
is that story. Oh, I was born in a small place in Sonora, in a little town that barely existed on maps. Back then, it was more ranch than town. 30 families, 40 maybe, and everyone knew everyone. I don't have many happy
Pancho,
memories
vuelve
of
ahora.
childhood, not because I forgot them, because there weren't many. I grew up with a mother people were afraid to name, a woman the village avoided like a bad illness. To us, she wasn't mother the way other children meant it. To us, she was the owner of the house, the boss, the one who decided what we were allowed to be. There were 3 of us, 3 girls, and as soon as our hands were big enough, they belonged to chores, cleaning, cooking, carrying water,
Eat it now.
washing
Yes.
clothes.
Okay. Tear
We
it
did the
and
work of
eat.
adults before we knew what freedom was. We never knew our father. Not a name, not a face, not a story. If we asked, my mother's mouth would tighten like she was holding poison. She hated men. She spoke of them with a cold anger, like even remembering them would stain her tongue. There had been a boy once, a brother, but no one spoke of him. I only know this. When my mother realized during labor that the baby was a boy, she got rid of him. She claimed she gave him away. But even as a child, I could feel the lie under the words. My mother was a small, sturdy woman, dark skin, always dressed in black. Long dresses that covered everything from neck to feet. You never saw her hair? Never. She wrapped her head and shoulders in a rebozo like armor. When she walked through the village, people lowered their eyes. Not out of respect, out of fear. We didn't look like her, not even close. We were tall and pale, with light eyes and hair that turned golden in the sun.
Esther
The village
River
whispered
incident,
we weren't hers.
not an accident.
That a woman like her
Sick
couldn't
certainty.
birth girls like us. Some people said she stole us. We never had proof. But the doubt lived in us like a splinter you can't pull out. My mother never hugged us, never praised us, never spoke to us gently. But she insisted we looked perfect, clean, well-dressed, even if we rarely left the house.
Come with us.
She sewed our long skirts, she made our shawls, as if our appearance was part of something bigger. And because I was the oldest, she took me with her places I didn't understand. Meetings at night, houses with doors that closed too quietly, women who cried without tears, men who didn't look anyone in the eyes. After, my mother would make me swear something. By dawn, she'd say, you won't remember.
Hold on, I'm here. Feel my
She
strength.
said it with such certainty that for
We are stronger
years I
together.
didn't trust
Don't
my
let
own
go.
mind.
I'll be
I
back.
didn't know if my memories were real or if fear had invented them. But there was one routine that was real. Every morning we went to the river. Not because it was peaceful, because we had to. We washed clothes, filled buckets, scrubbed until our fingers wrinkled. But for a short time, it felt like freedom. The river was the only place my mother couldn't fully control the world.
Faster.
And it was at the river that something happened that broke the shape of our lives forever. It was late morning, we were packing up to leave. And my youngest sister, Esther,
Turn around.
begged to stay longer. That wasn't allowed. My mother had one rule above all: we never separate. So I told Esther no. I told her we'd be punished. But Esther clung to the river like a drowning person clings to air. She cried, she begged, she threw a tantrum, and I don't know why. But I gave in.
Still, you don't
Maybe I was tired, maybe I wanted to be kind for once. I told my middle sister, Patricia, that we'd carry the laundry back to the house and return for Esther quickly. The walk was 10 minutes, 15 maybe. We ran. We came back fast. But those minutes were enough. We found Esther by the riverbank, curled in on herself like a hurt animal. She didn't react when she saw us. The dirt around her was disturbed. Her eyes were open but empty, like her mind had left and only her body
She
stayed
doesn't belong
behind.
to you. Not
Patricia
fully,
and
not
I
yet.
understood instantly. Something had happened. Something bad. We pulled her into the water and tried to wash her. Tried to clean bruises we didn't understand. Like the river could carry away what pain clung to her skin. We asked her what happened. Who did it? Where did they come from?
You're going farther, but you're
Esther
not.
didn't answer. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just existed. We walked home with her between us, holding her up like she might collapse. And it wasn't only fear of our mother's punishment anymore. It was fear of the outside world. Fear that the world truly was as cruel as our mother always claimed. Near the house, Esther finally spoke. Just one sentence, so quiet it sounded like shame. It was a pig. Patricia and I stopped in the road. I turned to Esther. What did you say? Esther didn't repeat it. She folded over and vomited in the dirt, like her body was trying to spit out the memory. When we got home, my mother didn't ask. what happened. She didn't look at Esther's bruises.
Genesis?
She didn't ask why Esther's
Hello.
eyes looked dead. She simply watched us with that cold,
No, this can't be happening.
careful stare.
It burns.
And the next morning, she came to
No,
the
this
river
can't be
with us.
happening.
She covered our heads with
burns.
black veils before we left. She hurried us like she was trying to outrun something. And from that day on, the house felt different. Esther moved. Esther ate. Esther obeyed. But Esther was not there. Sometimes she stared at one point for hours. Sometimes she woke screaming in the night. But when we ran to her, she couldn't remember. My mother
911,
never
what's your
spoke of the
emergency?
river.
Genesis face drains.
But she watched us more closely, like she was afraid something had slipped out of her grip. And then she started looking at me differently. I was 11 when she said it. You have something,
Don't say your name.
she told me one night. Not with love, with interest. Something useful. I didn't understand until she brought a woman from the village into our house. The woman had pain in her arm. She complained and complained.
If you hear a whistle,
My
don't
mother
answer.
told me, put your hands on her, don't think. Just touch. I did. And I felt it. A heat inside my body.
This line gets people who are
Deep.
marked.
Unnatural. Rushing into my arms and down into my palms.
I didn't call you.
My hands vibrated like they were holding electricity. The woman stopped complaining.
No, but something did.
Her face changed. She said the pain was leaving. I panicked. I tried to pull away. My mother held my wrists with iron strength. No, she whispered. Focus. When the woman left, grateful and confused, I felt
Genesis,
empty.
cover your mirrors tonight.
Not tired like after work. Empty like something had been taken from me, or worse,
Why?
like
She's
something
looking for her blood.
had been placed inside me. My mother kept bringing people more pain, more
She
sickness,
My mother.
problems
The
doctors
warning
couldn't explain.
continues.
Every time I touched them,
If you
and
hear her whistle, don't look toward
their suffering moved into me like water into cloth. They left lighter. I stayed heavier, and the worst part was, it didn't fully leave. It accumulated. My mother's reputation grew. People came for favors, for things they didn't say out loud, and when the village learned I could heal,
She
they started
found me.
treating me like a miracle. They called me chosen, sent by
Genesis,
God.
is the lock secure?
But in our
Yes.
house, there was no God, no saints, no prayers, no crosses, only symbols, strange words, objects I wasn't allowed to touch. My mother never corrected them. Their belief made her stronger,
Janice,
and I began to
I
fade.
see you, Ian.
I became irritable, sad,
the
exhausted.
door.
I slept
It's okay.
poorly. I dreamed things I couldn't explain. Sometimes I woke with my hands burning like I'd touched someone in my sleep. And then without realizing it,
Don't
I
respond.
grew up. I became a pretty girl. Not because I tried. It just happened.
Mother is speaking now.
And suddenly
You
the
can
men in
feel
the
it, can't
village
you?
stopped
Mother's
lowering
here.
their eyes. They
Still,
smiled
you
too
don't
much.
understand.
They stared too long. Proposals began arriving.
This is the
offers,
rule.
promises of money,
This
of
is the
land,
rule.
of
You
protection.
must follow it.
I wasn't a
will.
person to them. I was a trade.
Not give her a door.
My mother didn't accept any offers, not because she loved me, because she wanted me for something
Do
else.
not give her your name.
She hid me more, watched me more. And something inside
Confirm who
me,
you
something I'm
are.
ashamed of, began to grow. Hatred, a hard, bright hatred. Because it sounded too much like her. I wanted to walk outside without fear. To speak to someone, to be dirty and alive. My mother never celebrated birthdays. To her, aging was nothing. Just another day. But there was one person in the village who broke that rule. Doña Pilar, an old neighbor with tired eyes and a gentle smile. She was the only person who didn't fear my mother. They hated each other in silence, but Doña Pilar found small ways to remind us we were human. Every year she left bread at our door, fresh, warm. She never stayed to hand it to us. She just left it like a secret kindness. My mother wouldn't let us eat it. but the smell alone was enough to make me feel remembered. And because of Doña Pilar, I saw him. Pancho, her grandson. He wasn't from the village. He rode in on horseback with supplies for his grandmother. When Doña Pilar's health worsened, Pancho
It was the
came more
last
often.
turn before the
I
end.
watched them through the window. They drank coffee in her yard. She laughed, he listened, and the scene was so normal it felt impossible. One day when my sisters and I returned from the river with buckets, Pancho approached to help. He didn't even touch the
Audible
bucket
warning.
handle
Distant whistle
because
detected.
my mother's
Do
voice
not
cut through
approach.
the air. A short, hard no. Pancho froze. Doña Pilar called him back quickly. Before I went inside, I looked at Doña Pilar. She smiled at me, a small smile that felt like a farewell. The next day I turned 15. No one said anything. But when I stepped into the yard, I saw it. A basket, bread, still warm. The smell hit my face like a memory of a life I never had. Pancho stood at the fence, smiling. Doña Pilar watched from her doorway, and something inside me broke. I carried the basket into the house. I called my sisters, I gave them the bread, and I told them, eat. It wasn't a request. It was an order. My mother stepped out of her room. She saw the bread. She saw us. I looked back at her, and I took a bite. The silence that followed was worse than screaming. The bread tasted like something I'd forgotten I needed, like a piece of my soul returning. My mother held my gaze, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in her eyes. That night, I couldn't sleep. The house creaked. The wind made wrong noises, and in the early hours before dawn, I heard my mother singing. Not a lullaby, not a prayer. A slow, rhythmic song that didn't sound human. It came from the yard. I crept to the window. A fire burned outside. But the fire moved strangely, like it was alive. My mother stood with her back to the house. Her posture was wrong. Not standing like a person, standing like something trying to imitate standing. I lowered my eyes, and I saw her legs. And I won't describe what I saw. I'll only say this. They were not legs, the way legs should be. And in that moment, I understood with perfect, blood-freezing clarity. My mother didn't only do dark things. My mother was not fully human. And with that understanding came another one. A certainty that made me sick. What happened to Esther at the river was not an accident.
There was nothing
Part
left but
5
the wind.
ends here. Part 6. The promise to leave. After that night, I knew I couldn't stay, not because I was brave, because my body understood something my mind refused to accept. That house was not my home. It was a cage, and something in it was beginning to look at me like I was its property. The next morning, Pancho arrived at our door, not knocking like a visitor, knocking like someone trying to save a life. He leaned in and whispered, "Your mother went to the hill." I didn't feel relief. I felt the opposite. Because if she wasn't in the house, she could be anywhere. Pancho's eyes were wide with urgency. "Doña Pilar is getting worse," he said. "We're leaving today. We're going to Nayarit. Come with us." My sisters stood behind me, silent, trembling. I looked at them, waiting for them to say yes, to beg me to take them. But Esther's eyes were on the floor. Patricia whispered, barely audible, "Here, we're safe." And when she said it, I understood something that broke my heart. The fear didn't just live in the house, it lived inside them now. And then Patricia looked up, eyes wet, and said, "She looks at you differently." My throat tightened, because I knew it was true. I hugged them, hard, like I could force my courage into their skin. I promised I would come back. I didn't know how, I didn't know when.
Marked.
but I promised anyway because it was the only thing I had to give. I ran. I followed Pancho down the dirt road away from the house. Every step hurt like I was leaving pieces of myself behind. Then I heard it. A whistle. Long, clear. Impossible to mistake. My mother's whistle. It came from the hill, the wind shifted, and for one terrifying second, it felt like the whistle wasn't in the air. It was inside my head, calling my name without using a voice. Pancho grabbed my arm. Faster, he hissed. We reached Doña Pilar's house. Pancho stopped so suddenly I almost crashed into him. His eyes went wide. He whispered, "Don't turn around."
The 3 rules. 1, the dark road. 2, the quiet hallway.
Because humans
3,
are
the
stupid
covered
with
mirror.
curiosity, and because I needed to know if the world was still logical. My mother stood in the road, where seconds ago there was nothing. Her black dress moved with the wind. Her face was covered by a veil, but something under the veil moved. Not like a human face moves, like something shifting, trying to find the right shape. She spoke, and her voice was calm. "Still you don't understand," she said. "You don't know who you are." She extended a hand toward me, and I felt
The
it
whistle
immediately.
again. Stay
A tug
inside.
inside my chest. The same heat, the same vibration.
Final rule. Do not look
But
back.
now it came with terror. Like something inside me was trying to answer her. She took one step, just one, and yet the distance between us felt like it disappeared. Dogs began to howl in the village. The wind rose. Doña Pilar stepped out of her house and placed herself between us like a small wall. "Leave," Doña Pilar said, her voice steady. "You won't take her." My mother's head tilted. Doña Pilar lifted her chin. "She doesn't belong to you," Doña Pilar said. "Not fully, not yet." For the first time, my mother stopped moving. Then she said something I will never forget. Not loudly, not angrily, like a promise. "I will return for my blood." And then the road was empty, as if she'd never been there. Doña Pilar put her hand on my chest, where the heat had been. Now there was only a trembling heartbeat. "You're going far," she whispered, "but you're marked." I didn't ask questions. I didn't have the strength. Pancho took my hand, and we left that same day. I slept in the back of a truck as we drove. A deep sleep. No dreams. Like my mind had paid something to finally rest. I never saw my sisters again. I never returned to that village. And even now, after all these years, I know this with certainty. My mother is still alive. My mother is still waiting. Part 6 ends here. Part 7. The call that came back. Genesis ended the recording there. But that wasn't the end of what she told us. Because Genesis said something happened years later, something that pulled the past forward like a hook. She said she had built a life far away, a different state, a different job, a different name
Don't
on
answer
paper.
it.
But she still had one rule she lived by without fully understanding it. She never kept uncovered mirrors in her bedroom. And she never stopped
Don't
on empty
open the
roads
door.
at night. Then one evening, Genesis said her phone rang. A number she
look
didn't
toward it.
recognize. She didn't answer. It rang again. She ignored it. It rang a third time. And something inside her, something old, tightened. So she answered. "Hello?" Silence, then a sound. Not a voice, a whistle, long, clear. Her blood went cold. Because there are some sounds your body remembers before your mind can. Like, Genesis hung up. Her phone rang again instantly. This time she didn't answer. She watched it ring until it stopped. Then she did the one thing she promised herself she'd never do. She called back. It rang once, twice, and then someone answered. A tired professional voice. A dispatcher.
Unit 12, report
911.
status. Copy,
What's
en
your
route to us.
emergency?
Don't say it on air.
Genesis said she couldn't breathe because because she hadn't
Identified
dialed
voice, confirm your
911,
status. Status
not
is stable, but
intentionally.
situation is developing.
She whispered.
Acknowledge, standing by.
I'm sorry, I think I misdialed. The dispatcher didn't respond like a normal dispatcher. He didn't say ma'am. He didn't ask for her location. He said calmly, "Don't say your name." Genesis froze. She whispered, "What?" The dispatcher continued as if he was reading a warning he'd read to other people. "Do not confirm your identity. Do not confirm your location. Do not confirm you understand. Do not say you're okay." Genesis couldn't speak. The dispatcher said, "If you hear a whistle, don't answer it." Genesis's hand shook so badly, she almost dropped the phone. She whispered, "Who is this?" The dispatcher paused, then said something that made Genesis start crying immediately. "This line gets people who are marked." Genesis whispered, "I didn't call you." The dispatcher said, "No, but something did." Genesis stared at her dark window, at her own reflection in the glass, at the outline of her apartment behind her, and for the first time in years, she felt it.
The
That
signal
old pressure
fades,
in
but the
air,
message
that
remains.
sensation
Heed this
that the
warning,
world
for the
had
darkness
leaned
is
closer.
patient.
The dispatcher spoke again. "Cover your mirrors," he said. "Tonight." Genesis whispered, "Why?" The dispatcher's answer was quiet and simple. "Because she's looking for her blood." Genesis's throat tightened. "She," Genesis whispered, "and my mother." The dispatcher didn't answer her question. He only said, "If you hear her whistle, don't look toward it." Genesis's window glass began to fog. Not from her breath, from the inside, a cloudy patch blooming outward like a bruise. Genesis stumbled backward. And then, from the hallway outside her apartment door, she heard a sound. A slow scrape, like fingernails on wood. Genesis whispered into the phone, "She found me." The dispatcher's voice stayed steady. "Do you have a lock?" he asked. Genesis nodded, then remembered she wasn't supposed to answer. She didn't speak. The dispatcher said, "Tap once for yes." Genesis tapped the phone with her finger once. The scrape outside her door stopped. And in the silence, a voice came through the peephole. Soft, familiar, perfectly wrong. Her own voice. "Open the door," it said. "It's okay." Genesis covered her mouth with both hands, not trusting herself to breathe. The dispatcher said, "Don't respond." Genesis didn't. Outside the door, the voice changed. It became older, rougher, her mother's voice muffled and smiling. "Still you don't understand," it said. Genesis slid down the wall, shaken. The dispatcher said, "Listen to me, this is the rule." Genesis's tears blurred her vision. "Do not give her a door," the dispatcher said, "and do not give her your name." Outside the door, her mother's voice said softly, "Confirm who you are." Genesis's phone screen lit up with an incoming prompt. Just a blank field waiting, as if it wanted her to type something. Genesis stared at it and remembered the only thing Doña Pilar had ever told her. "You're marked." Genesis put the phone down on the floor. She didn't hang up. She didn't speak. She didn't type. She sat in the dark and listened to the scraping outside. And then, after what felt like hours, it stopped. In the morning, Genesis opened her door. The hallway was empty, but on the wood beside her handle there were long scratches, 4 deep marks. And on the floor, right in front of her doorway, a small pile of dirt, as if someone had walked a long way to get to her, and then stood still, waiting. Genesis ended her message to us with one sentence. "I didn't know a road could follow you home, but now I do. If you're still with me tonight, thank you. And if any part of these stories made you think of a road you've stopped on, a mirror you've left uncovered, a sound you can't forget, then do yourself a favor. Don't answer it. And whatever you do, don't confirm your name.